Hello beautiful people, how is it going? I'm Lucas and today we're going to see how well the Axe 3 does bass. The session I got here is it's a Killswitch engaged song, The Arms of Sorrow. It is from a cover I got the stems for. And when I originally did this song, see the bass here, I just did it strictly off the DI and I just mixed it on my bass bus. But I came in here and reamped that DI and I used my Axe 3 bass patch. So let's get a listen to how it ended up coming out. I'll let you listen to it in the mix and then I'll solo it by itself. Here we go. So there we go, and that's what it sounds like. And let's take a little bit of a look at the patch that I made for it. So starting off, let's start off at the very beginning. This is the actual input one right here. This is going to be the gate. This is what I have the settings set to. I also used another gate or expander. I used it right here just to kind of clean up a little bit of the nastiness that sometimes happens with the bass. The main difference between these two right here is on the actual gate or expander, you have a low cut and high cut that you can mess with. As you can see, everything else is kind of sort of the same. I have a compressor right here. Just use a studio compressor. Kept it real simple. Didn't really get too crazy on here. Just to keep things sort of level. Going on to the drive, I used the black glass, or what it's really, it's modeled after the dark glass pedal. I put a little bit of drive on there. I didn't want to put too much because I didn't want it to get too extreme. Got a little bit of tone going on in there. I was careful because I find for the high cut, if I push anything past this right here, it got really scrapey and it got kind of gross. So I left that right there. Put a little bit of bass in, left the mid frequency at 600. Put a little bit of mids. Going on to the amp. It's just a 65 bass amp is what I use. I basically based this whole patch off of the stock bass settings, and I just kind of added a few things in here, and I found it worked out really well. I put the drive at almost at 7, bass and mid are at 6, put the treble at 5, presonance is at 6, massive volume I had at 8. I put a little bit of I'll put a little bit of saturation on it, excuse me. I put it at about 1.5. To get that bass grit that you hear now, you can do that one or two ways. You can either use the drive pedal and get some drive, or you can turn up the input drive really high if you want to get it that way. It's not as effective that way. Or you can use the saturation switch right here. And not a lot of people use this, but I do like using this a lot. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. I mean, if you really want like some extremely scratchy, grindy bass, you can definitely achieve it with that. For the cab that I'm using Dr. Bonker's 812 bass cab going on right here. This is right here. I actually got his bass pack, but he does actually have a few bass IRs in the actual factory one right here. Let's see if you can do DB, see if he's in here. He's in here on a few of them. I think he might be on factory too. He's in here. He's in here. Yeah, he is. Dr. Bonker's right there. That's his right there. Moving on to the PEQ right here. What I did in here was I added a little 700 because in the actual amp right here, if we come to I didn't touch the input EQ. Come to the output EQ. There's actually not a 700 tab right here in the EQ. I got at least here a little V going on right here, scooped out some mids. There's not an actual 700 tab right there. And I'm just showing you what else I did to it. And a little bit I did in the speaker drive. I didn't go all too crazy in there. And that's really all the settings that I touched. I didn't touch anything in dynamics. Everything else is the same. Going back to the PEQ, the 700 I have right here, I put about 5 dBs right there because I find, especially pertaining to metal, if you put a little bit of 700 in there, it helps it gel with the guitars a little bit better. I got that tip from Nolly, who used to be in Periphery, who he says Misha always likes to do that, and it works out pretty well. And I put a little bit of 600K, 6,000 hertz in there. Put that a little bit in there just so I can get a little bit of that grindiness that makes the bass sound pretty good. And that's it. That is the out block. I didn't touch anything. That is completely it for my bass patch. I kept it pretty simple for the most part, just kind of get it in there and try to get a little bit of low end. And lo and behold, I actually rather the bass tone that I got out of my Axe 3 than I do to the bass tone that I made when I originally did this song. So we've already heard what the Axe 3 bass tone was. So let's hear what the original bass tone sounds like whenever I built it. Let me, I just have to turn my plugins back on real quick. Alright, here we go. And I had some compression, some limiting, track spacer. So I'm probably going to keep that on with the Axe 3 too. And I have some reverb in here. I have plenty of stuff on here. So I'll let you listen to it. Let's go in the whole mix first. And let's go back to the Axe bass and see how that sounds. Now my mastering plugins are affecting it a tad bit. This is without anything on it completely. Let's see what this sounds like. So my mastering plugins are affecting it a little bit. It's making it a little bit louder. It's giving it a tad bit more high end. But coming straight out of the Axe effects, it sounds really great. And with a little bit of tweaking, you can make that perfect for a live sound. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Axe 3 in a metal based context. And I have to say, I find it sounds really great, and I just worked a little bit on that bass patch. It's one of the first patches I made when I got my Axe 3. So, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Do you think it sounds good? You know, what things should I have added to make it sound a little bit better, if you say? I mean, and even with this tone right here, you can tweak it a little bit, give it a little more EQ, and you can really 100% cement it. But I didn't want to tame it for that. I wanted to give a 100% straight out of the Axe type of sound, minus my mastering plugins. Yes, I do know, but those are going to be on here regardless of what happens. So, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As for me, I'm going to have to be out. Peace.